Ladies and gentlemen, Don Lemon got fired by CNN and he got a chance to work with X, Twitter.
Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Democrats?
I don't have to answer these questions.
The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think, do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm
or
criticized constantly. I could care less.
Don Lemon had them hard question. I wish he interviewed Putin. Don Lemon had the opportunity to start his own show on X, Twitter, and he decided to interview Elon Musk.
You recently met with Donald Trump in Florida. What did you guys talk about?
I was at a breakfast at a friend's place, and Donald Trump came by. That's it.
What did you discuss?
I don't... let's just say he did most of the talking.
Did he ask you for money?
He didn't.
Are you going to loan him money to help pay his legal bills?
I'm not paying his legal bills in any way, shape, or form.
Did he ask you for a donation?
No.
Are you leaning towards anyone?
No.
You're not leaning towards anyone? Because you've been very...
Let me say I'm leaning away from Biden.
You're leaning...
And now I wonder how that is going.
Hi everyone, Elon Musk is mad at me. And I just put out a statement about what happened between him, me, and the interview that he is apparently so upset about.
All I can say is good luck. You had your chance, but you created CNN 2.0. Asked the question over and over and assumed they said exactly what they did not say.
Gotcha.
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country.
There's also updated advice for all vehicle owners, a message echoed by Toronto police speaking at an Etobicoke safety meeting last month. Constable Marco Ricciardi had a new message for vehicle owners who keep their fobs in Faraday pouches.
To prevent the possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door. Because they're breaking into your home to steal your car. They don't want anything else. A lot of them that they're arresting have guns on them, and they're not toy guns, they're real guns. They're loaded.
That's why Galinsky says they will be installing the door stops and taking YPR's advice seriously. But she'd like more action from police as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, Canada has one of the strictest gun laws in the human race. All non-restricted firearms must have a secure lock, such as a trigger or a cable lock, and be secured in a gun cabinet, firearm safe or safe room. Ammunition must not be easily accessible and stored in a secured container that cannot be easily opened or broken into, and also locked away. Hashtag ladies and gentlemen, gun locked over there, ammo over there. How can you save yourself? Viva Ray said it perfectly. They are breaking into your homes to steal your car. They don't want anything else. Update. Okay, they're breaking into your homes to steal your valuables, but I don't wanna hurt you. Update. Okay, they wanna hurt you, but I don't wanna grape you. Update. Okay, they wanna grape you, but I don't wanna kill you. Update. Okay, they wanna kill you, but I don't wanna kill your children. Update. Okay, they wanna kill you and your children, but they'll do it quickly and painlessly if you don't put up a fight. This is Justin Trudeau, Canada.
It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism.
You just have to flood, and it's not necessary for people to believe this information in order to weaken democratic institutions. You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won.
I don't have to have a driver's license to drive a vehicle.
You are being detained right now. Step out the vehicle, young lady.
I know my rights.
Either you step out the vehicle or I will remove you from the vehicle.
I know my rights.
I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to make you step out the
You're
vehicle.
going to get me a supervisor out here right now.
No, you're going to step out the vehicle right now.
You are going to get me a supervisor out here right now.
That's fine.
I know my rights.
What right is that?
I do not have to have a driver's license to drive a car.
And that is not all. If he is reelected, the former president has openly said, and that is not all. If he is reelected, the former president has openly said he intends to weaponize the Department of Justice against his enemies.
That's what you've been doing all along to so many people.
And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against. It's been pretty amazing, but it possibly, I don't know, maybe there's something there.
So you all were all there. A quick show of hands. Do you believe his comments were in any way racist? Nobody. Okay.
And ultimately, we can all see this playing out right in front of our very eyes. I wasn't offended or didn't feel like anything he said was racist in any way.
You know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts and they sell them for $19 a piece.
Kevin T, I want to bring you in here. Do you feel that comment was in any way off color?
Not at all. I mean, the reality is that, we see a president that has been prosecuted and persecuted. And a lot of people in the community, especially in the black community, who have felt that there's multi-tiers of justice, are seeing that played out in front of their very eyes. And they're saying, yeah, I can relate to this guy.
Well, no, I agree, especially coming from an education perspective. He didn't say.
But if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Trump is the new Tupac. And this Tupac doesn't have to be black.
That's racist.
This self-criticism that we see about the nation, why is it that in Western civilization we have so much trouble with nationhood?
You've spent 60 years teaching your children to hate your own civilization. Why are you surprised that they hate your civilization? Sorry, but that's what's happened.
It worked.
It worked, and absolutely. And by the way, it's not just hate. It's hard to teach people to hate. What's much easier is to lie to them about history. So in the UK, for example, in England, there's this. We have the Church of England, I think, has just approved £1 billion worth of reparations because we talk endlessly about slavery, and the narrative on slavery in seems to me to be, there was no slavery. And then the British Empire came along and invented slavery. And then woke people came along and ended slavery. When, of course, we all know what actually happened, which is slaves were probably the first good that human beings ever traded. Never had anything to do with racism, by the way.
British people could not capture the Africans because if they go there, they would die from diseases. Africans sold Africans. So get reparation from Africans.
So I'll just shut the up! I'll just shut the up for good now, huh?
Now, I had some questions. I sent those to my son's principal and to the superintendent, and I did hear back, but those answers only created more questions. But I have a couple of different questions for the board. Number one, what the hell? And number two, what the hell? Now, I would have liked to have come here with serious, non-rhetorical questions about this issue, which in a normal world would have been an isolated incident of an overzealous school staff member. But at this point, I know any questions I would ask would fall on deaf ears. It's a clear trend now. This board has created a district culture where child sexualization isn't the exception. It's the rule. It's not just in high school anymore. It's in grade school. If this school board had existed in 2005, you'd all be the villains in an episode of Criminal Minds.
This father is totally right. If I had this conversation in 2005 with a kid, I would be arrested.
The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. for the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Parents at Elk Grove's Pleasant Grove Elementary School say they were alarmed to discover a third-grade teacher was allowed to personally invite all the 3rd through 6th grade classes to a new LGBT club he was starting called the UBU Club. Education activist Heidi Moore discusses the club.
Their children were essentially being recruited, some as young as 2nd grade, by a teacher there. And he was going around telling them that if they it was a club for boys who crush on boys or girls who crush on girls, but that anyone could come because there were fun games that you couldn't find anywhere else.
Moore says permission slips were required for all other clubs and that all available activities were listed in the weekly newsletter.
It just seems that everything they did was very obviously trying to hide it from parents because they didn't require permission slips. They didn't tell parents. They didn't put it in the newsletter, and they held it at lunchtime.
The club's organizer, teacher Daniel Bishop, shared a photo on Facebook of a t-shirt that reads, "I'm the teacher Fox News warns you about," writing, "I think I found my back-to-school shirt."
The establishment of a gay club in elementary school raises concerns about age appropriateness. While fostering inclusivity is vital, it's crucial to evaluate the developmental readiness of our children's young minds for such discussions.
While I understand the importance of providing a safe space for all, I am deeply troubled by the intentional deception regarding the UBU Club.
Pleasant Grove principal Deidre Wood wrote that the club was accidentally left out of the newsletter and would be mentioned in a future newsletter.
I don't believe you at all. It always happens. We forgot.
If you want to talk to your children about that, then that's your right. And just like it's any other parent's right to be in control of when they talk to their kids about sexuality and how they do it. And when the school is secretly going around to 2nd and 3rd graders and recruiting them to a club that involves sexual orientation and possible conversations, private conversations about their sexual orientation, and then being told to keep secrets, that's super concerning.
Can I tell you something crazy about New York? Not having a job makes your life so much easier. I know you're like, huh? So boom, let's say you got mad kids and you don't want to work. You just want to stay home all day, smoke weed, be lazy. Go to the shelter, free housing. What's the next step? An apartment, free housing, or you're going to have a little copay. But guess what? You don't have a job, so where's the copay going to come from? Cash assistance. Where's the food going to be coming from? Food stamps. So as long as you don't have a job, you will always have a roof over your head and you will always have food in your stomach. They will always look out for you.
Yeah, she cracked the code. She's playing the migrant game.